line. Over there, over there. Send the word over there. That the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming. The drums rum-tumming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer. Send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over, over there, over there, over there. Send the word over.
Hey everybody, this is Joshua Littrell. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Honor Across Arms podcast. Today, I'm joined by veteran Shane CRONLEY. Shane, how are you doing today?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in and listening.
Absolutely. We're broadcasting around the globe. So this Honor Across Arms podcast, Shane, we're here to really, just talk about our military service, lift it up, let people understand what it's like to serve, and talk about some of the neat things that maybe we did, fun time that you had, great person that you served with. But before we get into all that, Shane, if you don't mind giving the listeners a little understanding of where you're at geographically located in the country today.
Well, right now I'm down in Niceville, Florida, and it's a nice 40 degrees right now. I don't know what's going on. Ain't so sunny right now. It's not so warm in Florida right now, but it's okay.
But it's sunny, right?
It's nice. We'll take it. It's better than being up in Alaska.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. We'll get into that. Are you originally from Ohio?
I am. Yes, sir. Small town of Mount Victory, Ohio. Barely 600 people in there.
Wow, that's beautiful. So you mentioned Alaska. You must have served in the military, and that's what this is all about here on the Honor Across Arms podcast. Tell us a little bit about that.
I did 4 years active duty as a firefighter, EMT. First, I was stationed at Patterson there in Dayton, Ohio, and then I got stationed in Yokota, Japan, which is 40 minutes from downtown Tokyo.
Wow.
It was pretty good. You want me kind of like start from the beginning, or you want to how it all started? Or?
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you what, Shane. Let's do this. So you're an Air Force veteran, and let's tell the listeners a little bit about how that all came about, because I think your story is really neat. A lot of times we talk about how we came to be in the military, right? So did you have any family that served in the military?
Yeah, I have my oldest brother. He was a Navy corpsman from 86 to 90. He was stationed in Richmond. And then I got a cousin who was a tank driver during the first Gulf War, who he saw a lot of action. So and then other than that, then it was just me. Wow.
So you got a family. It's not really a whole lot of military in your family, but you do have some. You grow up thinking about, I want to be a soldier. I want to be an airman, right? That was something in your blood. You had to be that.
Honestly, I can, you know what? Let me just go ahead and kick off that I didn't know nothing about the military. Even when my oldest brother went into Navy, we went to Great Lakes for his graduation. It was November, December of '86, and I was just 10 years. I was 9 years old. And the only thing I remember is when we were sitting inside the parade grounds or the parade arena. I remember all the different groups or squadrons, platoons, whatever they called it in the Navy, marching around. And then we saw my brother's platoon come in there and marching around and doing their thing. And I remember, he got done. They broke everyone loose and we got to see him. And then we hung out with him. And then he went on to corpsman school. And then I didn't think about the military again until late of 1996. I graduated high school May of '96, and where I'm from, they have Honda car factory, the Ford factory, and so a lot of my classmates, when they graduated, they worked at Honda, and some of them are still there. Some of them have retired.
Blue collar.
Yeah,
America, right?
Yep, farmers and factory workers is basically what it boils down to. So when I graduated, I went and worked part-time. I actually worked at a nursing home for a month because originally I wanted to be a nurse growing up.
Oh, wow.
And I did it for a month, wiping the butts and all that stuff. It didn't bother me. But what finally made me say the hell with it was that after my a month-long orientation, like, we're going to put you on graveyard shift, which was from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. I did that one night, and I'm like, nope, this is too boring. Daytime, you're constantly moving. You're getting the people up. You're changing the diapers. You're wiping their butts. You're dressing them. You're getting them into the cafeteria, and then you go on about your day, and the day is done. But at nighttime, it's like a part-time security guard. You're just walking around making sure nobody falls out of the bed.
Sure.
So I did that one night. Like, nope, this is not for me. I went and applied for working at a place called Belmar, which is now Honda Transmission. I was able to get a temporary job as a forklift operator, and that was October of '96. Because during the summer I helped out friends and stuff like that, doing different farm work, and then did the nursing home for a month, and then now I got a temporary job where I was working as a forklift operator. I was like, you know what, I could do this the rest of my life. And so a couple of months go by. January rolls around. I was talking to my boss. I'm like, I can't wait till my 2-year term is up and I can roll into full time and keep doing this. He's like, kid, when you get off that 2-year temp job, you're getting off the forklift and you're going to stand on the line there flipping transmission hoods for 8 hours a day.
Oh,
and,
wow.
So I'm sorry, but some of the strongest people, that means, as a fireman and all that, I know police officers, but people who work the line and has the mental strength to stand there for 8 hours flipping transmission hood, I couldn't do it. I'm too antsy. Sure. I just, those are some of the strongest people I ever worked with in my life, because they knew they had a job to do and they had bills to pay, but I just couldn't do it. I was like, nah. And so I was like, what am I going to do with my life? It happened to be so at the same time, a family friend, he decided to go into the Air Force, and I remember him stopping by our house. He was so excited, and he was like, "I'm going to the Air Force, man. I'll write you a letter. I was like, "Let me know how it is." And so he actually did. I was literally plowing the field. I was literally plowing the field at my parents' house. Got off the tractor, walked to the mailbox, and there was a letter from him from San Antonio, Lackland Air Force Base. He's like, "Come on, man, boot camp's easy." And I was like, okay, sounds good. So I went and saw the recruiter. Was put on like a 3-month delayed enlistment, and I ended up going in April of '97. And boot camp was a blast. Air Force boot camp's a blast. So
all right, so did you go in open general? Did you go in with a job? What was that process like?
I went in open general, and one thing I didn't bring up was after I graduated high school, my mom kept pushing me because she's a nurse, paramedic, and she's like, get your EMT, get it, you'll need it. And I'm like, I was fighting tooth and nail back then. I was like, why the hell do I need to go in EMT? I think it's ridiculous. She was always on top of the game as far as like taking classes, and back then, EMT was like few and far between. And she's like, Shane, I see the future. If you want to do something, EMT is the way to go, and they're going to require everybody to be EMT. Well, man, she was a fortune teller, because, many years now, you can't get a job as a firefighter unless you have your EMT.
Yeah, absolutely.
So talking to a recruiter, actually a couple of days or last week, I was telling him, the whole situation, that I wanted to go into the medical field, be a med tech, this, that, and the other. I never picked to be a fireman. Like your third week in boot camp, you go into a small office and they say, here's a list of 20 jobs, pick one or pick 6. And so I picked like combat weather, med tech, cop, something else. Fireman wasn't even on the sheet. And I was the only one out of my whole squadron to be picked as a firefighter.
Wow.
And talking to the recruiter guy last week, he goes, you most likely, because you had your EMT, is the reason why you had fire department. And being a firefighter was the best damn job, hands down. It was a godsend. I believe in God, and it was his mission to have me to be a fireman, because I love my cop brothers and sisters, but I can't stand 12 hours. Like, going back to the factory, I can't stand 12 hours at a gate checking IDs like our brothers and sisters in the blue do.
Sure.
I respect the heck out of cops, but I can't do that because I'd be like, okay, I got to move. I'm too antsy. So you do boot camp.
So let's get that. Let's ask that question. So when you got that notification that you were going to be a firefighter, how'd that make you feel? What was that feeling like?
I don't honestly. It didn't kick in. Crazy story, true as all heck. It was supposed to be me and another guy who got firefighter, but so this guy, we called him Old Stinky Feet because his feet stank, and he looked like, and he looked like Skeletor. He was so skinny.
Wow.
He kind of had an attitude, but we dealt with him, and he was okay. Well, the 5th week, the TI comes in screaming, everyone against the locker, and right behind him was two cops, 2 security police. He walks over to Skeletor, Stinky Feet. They turn him around, handcuff him, and they escort him out. And after he escorted out, the TI's like, everybody get in the day room. I'm like, what the hell? We get in there, and he's like, all right, shut up. Old Stinky Feet, he was wanted for grand theft larceny. And he was stealing cars or whatever. Car theft or something. Yeah, grand theft. So yeah, back then internet was hardly anything and cell phones were nil. So he basically tried to dodge a bullet and go, into the military. And he was 1 week away from graduating.
Oh my goodness gracious.
You never know what happened. You never knew what happened to him. And one thing I want to bring up too is I grew up. I didn't know any black people growing up. And when I went to boot camp, I made my best friend in boot camp was a black guy from Chicago. And we got to talking, and he's like, you know what, man, when I was growing up, I was told to hate white people and they're, the enemy and blah, blah, blah. And he said what made him decide to go into boot camp was that his best friend got shot by another gang member. And he said, you know what, the hell with this. And he said when he went to boot camp, I remember, kind of remember how hesitant he was and quiet and reserved he was to everyone, except for me. Him and I just kind of clicked. We just started talking and BSing, and I wasn't. My parents, my parents raised me to respect everyone, no matter who they are or what they look like. Respect them for who they are.
Sure.
And him and I, and he's like, you know what, getting to know you and getting to know all the other white guys, I was fed a lie. And so, I bring it up right now because of what's going on in America. The media tries to twist things. That's not the truth. In the military, there's issues, but when it comes to that, we're one family.
Well, Shane, what makes it that way? Because, this has come up a number of times on this Honor Across Arms podcast is people actually say that exactly. And I've actually shared that same story too, growing up in a basically white community, What makes the difference there? Because we are intermixed in our communities every single day. But what makes the military cut down all those boundaries and make you work together as a team?
Oh, when you suffer as a group, when you get in trouble, you decide to work together as a group. That's when it basically boils down to. When it doesn't matter what the color of somebody's skin is or what their religion. If they're not pulling their weight, then you need to chew their ass, tell them or correct them or teach them how to do something correct. Like in the Air Force, there's nothing physically demanding about boot camp. It's all about how to make your bed and fold your shirts in 6-inch squares.
Well, Shane, I disagree. I think it was very tough.
The toughest thing was when I was a big tobacco user, so not having tobacco for me was kind of hard. But other than that, I mean, it was an eye opener, and it was
it's mentally taxing. There's no doubt about it. Boot camp's tough.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, I guess to each his own. Because I was like, yes, I am not in Ohio. I'm doing something exciting. I remember the first night after we got off the bus and they lined us up. I remember there was a couple guys behind me. Some guy was crying. I'm like, are you serious? This is exciting. I mean, you're scared, you're excited, you're happy. But come on, man. So, but yeah, it was, just working as a group. You just tough it out. You earned,